Okay, and are we live and recording?
Yes, sir, we are live now and recording.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that. Welcome everybody to our land use meeting and public hearing for Tuesday, January 24th, 2023. Our business meeting went a little bit longer today, so we're beginning at 3:20 p.m. Today on the 24th. I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order if you'll all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United
States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much for that. Attorney Pratt, do we have certification of the agenda today?
Yes, Commissioners. Chris Pratt with the County Attorney's Office. All four items on your agenda today are close to the same thing. The first three items all had published notice accomplished December 29th and mailed notice accomplished December 27th. The final item, item D, had published notice accomplished December 22nd and mailed notice accomplished December 27th. All these items have been properly noticed and you have jurisdiction to hear them today.
Thank you, Attorney Pratt. Do any commissioners have disclosures for items on this agenda today?
I have none.
No, sir.
And I have none either. So with that, we'll move to item 2, our land use meeting agenda items. We have no items under this category, so we'll move on to item 3, our public hearing agenda items. Our first is item 3A, a resolution approving the First Amendment to Service Plan for Remuda Ranch Metropolitan District. Lauren Pulver, Senior Public Policy Analyst, presenting for staff. Hi, Lauren.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. The project before you is the Service Plan First Amendment for Remuda Ranch Metropolitan District. The project number is SV 2022-005, or 007, excuse me. I'm Lauren Pulver, representing Planning Resources. The applicant representative is here as well. The application is a request for approval of a Service Plan First Amendment for the purposes of removing references to the repealed Gallagher Amendment and adding language to clarify that the district is authorized to adjust mill levy limitations based on changes in the method of calculated assessed valuation, so that to the extent possible, the actual tax revenues generated by the mill levy as adjusted are neither diminished nor enhanced as a result of such changes. The Board of County Commissioners created and adopted guidelines for processing and reviewing special district service plan applications and amendments. The process begins with the submittal of an application. The request is prepared by staff and forwarded to referral agencies for comment. Staff further analyzes the request, and the applicant has the opportunity to resolve any issues identified through the referral period. The request is reviewed by the Planning Commission at a public meeting, and following public notice, the request is heard before the Board of County Commissioners. On December 19th, 2022, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the Service Plan Amendment by a vote of 8-0. No public comments were received. The districts are located in the non-urban area as defined in the 2040 Comprehensive Master Plan. The district is Zone Agriculture 1 and is included in the Remuda Ranch Rural Site Plan and outlined on the slide above. The service plan was originally approved by the Board of County Commissioners in 2008 to serve 87 residential units. The service plan was approved with a debt limit of $15 million and a maximum total mill levy of 55 mills. The First Amendment does not propose any changes to the maximum total mill levy or debt limit. The criteria as it relates to the proposed amendment has been detailed in the staff report. In staff's assessment, the application complies with the statutory criteria and the service plan amendment may be approved. This concludes my presentation, and the applicant representative is also here for any questions.
Thank you, Lauren, for that presentation. Any questions for staff?
I have none, thank you.
My question for Lauren, my question for you is, I know we have 4 of these, and this is the first one, and they're all essentially identical, removing references to Gallagher and then just a restatement on how mill levy can be adjusted going into the future. What if we do nothing?
That might be a better question for the applicant, Commissioner. The Gallagher reference is, of course, no longer relevant because Gallagher's been removed. And we've had discussion with the county attorney's office whether in the service plan they would still have the ability to adjust mill levies when there's other methods of calculation changed. I don't know if the county attorneys want to speak to that.
Well, I mean, certainly, we have a position on that, but the applicant has felt that this is a necessary adjustment for to give their districts the ability to continue to adjust should something other than Gallagher affect their mill levies. But they could probably speak to that question far better than either of us could.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, so with that, let me ask the applicant to come up and maybe if you're able to answer any questions that were presented by Commissioner Teal.
Jennifer Ivy, Ice Noggle Seaver Pogue, 4725 South Monaco Street, Suite 360, Denver, Colorado. Here on behalf of the first 2 applicants, this one being Bermuda Ranch Metropolitan District, to answer the Commissioner's question. Our boards felt that it was important enough to bring this to the County Commissioners for clarification. We do believe it is a fair reading of the service plan that we would be able to adjust or make an argument for adjustment without the clarification, but since that language is obsolete, we would like to have it removed so that there is no confusion on going forward.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions for the applicant? Okay, seeing none, we'll close that and open up citizen comment. Is there any citizen comment either in person or online with regard to this item 3A?
None seen in the room, sir.
And I also have no comment online, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, both of you. And with that, I'll close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion and or a motion.
I have a motion to approve a resolution approving the first amendment to the service plan for Bermuda Ranch Metropolitan District.
Second, wish to speak in favor of the motion.
Please.
Mostly, I'm not so much for the applicant are these comments, but, and perhaps only a little bit for my fellow board members, but very specifically for anybody else who's here or who is interested in any of the other 3. This looked to me, I had, I think, a little more than the 20 questions conversation with our staff when I was briefed on this matter last week. These sort of cleanup items do occur from time to time. As laws change around the state, often we see these in Metro District service plans. Sometimes we see these but we've had to see these with development plans, specifically in the town of Castle Rock. This is my first time getting something like this that I can recall here since I've been on the board these last 2 years. But this is stuff that we've seen all the time in the past. I did my best when we were talking to staff, and I'm very happy to hear from any members of the public who would like to speak on these matters today, because what has been presented to me so far, specifically for this item, is that really nothing substantial is changing with the service plan. We will see as we go through the other 3, but if there's nothing substantial that changes, guys, and it's just cleaning up language, this is stuff that we do all the time. laws change, our regulations that we're held to change, and the worst thing in the world anybody wants is for an old law to be sitting there in a current regulation and nobody knows what to do with it, because then chances are positive change can't happen. So I do speak in favor of the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Teal. Any further questions or comments from the board? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that carries 3-0. So with that, we'll move to item 3B, a resolution approving the third amendment to service plan for Hunting Hill Metropolitan District. Once again, Lauren Pulver from staff.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. The project before you is a Service Plan Third Amendment for Hunting Hill Metropolitan District. The project number is SV 2022-006. I'm Lauren Pulver, representing Planning Resources, and the applicant representative is here as well. As with the previous project, the application is a request for approval of a Service Plan Third Amendment for the purposes of removing references to the repealed Gallagher Amendment and adding language to clarify that the district is authorized to adjust the mill levy limitations based on changes in the method of calculating assessed valuation. As outlined in the previous presentation, the county has service plan review procedures as stated on the slide. Again, as stated in the previous presentation, the county has a service plan review process that includes a referral period, followed by a planning commission meeting, and then a board hearing. On December 19th, 2022, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the service plan amendment by a vote of 8-0. No public comments were received. The district is located in the primary urban area as defined in the 2040 Comprehensive Master Plan. The district is zoned planned development and is outlined on the slide. The service plan was originally approved by the Board of County Commissioners in 2007 to serve 418 multifamily residential properties. The service plan was amended in 2013 and 2018. The total debt limit for the district is $7.5 million, and the maximum total mill levy is 60 mills. The proposed third amendment does not include any changes to the debt limit or maximum total mill levy. Staff's assessment of the proposed amendment as it relates to the criteria has been detailed in the staff report. In staff's assessment, the application complies with the statutory criteria and the service plan amendment may be approved. This concludes my presentation, and the applicant representative is here for any questions.
Great, thank you, Lauren. Any questions for staff?
No, sir.
I have none.
Okay, and I have none either. Would the applicant like to make a presentation or share any comments?
Jennifer Ivey again, Ice Snuggle Seaver Pogue. No presentation. I did just want to thank staff for all their hard work on both of these applications. They've done a phenomenal job, and I'd be remiss if I didn't just point out what a great job they've done and what a pleasure they've been to work with. So that's all.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
No, sir.
I have none.
Okay, and I have none either. So with that, I'll open it up for any citizen comment. Is there any citizen comment in the room or online?
Commissioner, I have no online comment.
Thank you, Troy. And with that, I'll close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion and or a motion.
If it pleases the board, I do have a motion to approve a resolution approving the third amendment to the service plan for Hunting Hill Metropolitan District.
Second.
So there's a first and second on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that carries 3-0. So with that, we'll move to item 3C, a resolution approving the second amendment to the service plan for Cielo Metropolitan District. And Lauren, once again, is presenting. I think these are all relatively similar to Commissioner Teal's point. If you want to present an abbreviated version, And if that pleases the board, we would appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. The project before you is a service plan second amendment for Cielo Metropolitan District. This project number is SV 2022-004, and the applicant representative is Megan Murphy here with White Bear Ankley. The proposed First Amendment is identical to the previous presented projects. As outlined in the previous presentation, the county has service plan review procedures as stated on the slide. Again, as stated in the previous presentation, the county has a service plan review process that includes a referral period, followed by a planning commission and a public hearing before the Board of County Commissioners. On December 19th, 2022, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the service plan by a vote of 8-0 with no public comments. The districts are located in the Parker Municipal Planning Area as defined in the 2040 Comprehensive Master Plan. And the district is zoned planned development as outlined on the slide. The district service plan was approved in 2015 to serve 343 residential units with a First Amendment to increase debt limit approved in 2021. The district debt limit is $25 million with a maximum total mill levy of 60 mills. And again, no changes are proposed in this amendment to the debt limit or maximum total mill levy. Staff's assessment of the proposed amendment as it relates to the criteria has been detailed in the staff report. In staff's assessment, the application complies with the statutory criteria and the service plan may be approved. This concludes staff's presentation, and again, the applicant is here for any questions.
Lauren, thank you for that. Any questions for staff?
I have none.
No, sir.
And I have none either. Would the applicant like to make a presentation?
Megan Murphy on behalf of White Bear Ankley, Tanaka and Waldron, 2154 East Commons Avenue, Suite 2000, Centennial 80122. No presentation, available for questions.
Great. Any questions for the applicant?
I have none.
No, sir.
And I have none either. So with that, I'll open it up for citizen comment. Is there any citizen comment in the room or online with regard to this item 3C?
None seen in room.
And none online, sir.
Great, thank you both. And with that, I'll close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion and or a motion.
I have a motion to approve a resolution approving the Second Amendment to the service plan for Cielo Metropolitan District.
Second.
So we have a first and second on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that carries 3-0. So with that, we'll move on to our final item for this item 3, which is a resolution approving the First Amendment to the service plan for Mirabel Metropolitan District's district numbers 1 through 4. Once again, Lauren Pulver.
The project before you is a service plan First Amendment for Mirabel Metropolitan District's numbers 1 through 4 consolidated service plan. The project number is SV 2022-005, and the applicant representative again is Megan Murphy with White Bear Ankley. The proposed First Amendment is identical to the previously presented projects. As outlined in the previous presentation, the county has service plan review procedures as stated on the slide. As stated in the previous presentation, the county has a service plan review process that includes a referral period, followed by a planning commission meeting and a public hearing before the Board of County Commissioners. This item was heard by the Planning Commission on December 19th, 2022, and the Planning Commission recommended approval of the service plan by a vote of 8-0 with no public comments. The districts are located in the Chatfield urban area defined in the 2040 Comprehensive Master Plan. The districts are zoned planned development and outlined on the slide. The amended and restated consolidated service plan was approved by the board in 2016 to serve 1,100 residential units. The debt limit in the service plan is $90 million with a maximum total mill levy of 75 mills. Again, the proposed amendment does not make changes to the debt limit or the maximum total mill levy. Staff's assessment of the proposed amendment as it relates to the criteria has been detailed in the staff report. In staff's assessment, the application complies with the statutory criteria and the service plan amendment may be approved. This concludes my presentation, and again, Megan Murphy, the applicant representative, is here.
Great. Thank you, Lauren. Any questions for staff?
I have none.
No questions.
And I have none either. Ms. Murphy, would you like to say anything about this particular item?
Staff is wonderful every year, every time, every project. Thank you.
We agree. Thank you for sharing that. Any questions for the applicant?
No, sir.
I have none.
And I have none either. So with that, let me open it up for any citizen comment. Is there any citizen comment in the room or online with regard to this final item 3D?
We're getting pretty lean on attendees here in the room, so none seen.
Okay.
Commissioner, I do have a couple of online comments. First will be Matt Bashani. Matt, please state your name, where you reside, and you'll have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Matt Beshny. I reside at 11334 Star Street Road, Littleton, Colorado. And as a resident of the Metro District, I'm sorry, I'm hearing a little echo. As a resident of the Metro District, I do have concerns about this amendment. It seems to include more than making a change to address things such as the removal of the Gallagher Amendment. Not having a lot of knowledge about these amendments and reading this in effectively as a layperson, it seems to increase fees for those of us who already live in the neighborhood. From the documentation I have, I do show that this is an increase from effectively 55 to 75 mils, which I read is significant. It also seems to account for things like tap fees that would be, I think, predictable or foreseeable costs for the builder being passed on to existing residents for the benefit of future residents. And this doesn't seem to be something that is well addressed in this amendment. Further, we've sent emails and received no direct response, simply attachments with the amendment itself. And this is something that we find significantly concerning to the point where we don't think you should approve this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Ms. Murphy, I see you at the podium. What we'll do is hear any other citizen comments and then have you respond to those.
Thank you.
Troy, do we have any other citizen comment?
Sir, thank you, Commissioner. I have Scott, first initial C. Scott, you're unmuted. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Scott Champion. I reside at 11371 Star Street Lane, Littleton, Colorado, 80125. And my concern, in addition to what Mr. Beshny has said about the increase in mills from 55 to 75, in the bottom of the notice that was sent out to all residents that have read this this notice, it says that if we would like to be excluded from this from the district by submitting such a request to the Board of County Commissioners no later than 10 days prior to the public hearing, there's no other information on this notice that actually spells out how to do so other than please contact the board. There's no email address, there's no phone number, there's nothing in this notice that allows the citizens of our community to contact the board or whoever we need to contact to be excluded from this increase in levy, this from 55 to 75. And I think that should be addressed big time. And that's all I have.
Mr. Champion, thank you for that. And, perhaps additional notice was required. You are actually contacting and speaking with the board right now. Let me ask Troy, is there any additional citizen comment?
Sir, I have no additional comment. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, I'll close citizen comment. Let me ask Ms. Murphy if she's able to address the comments received by Mr. Champion and Mr. Beshno.
Yeah, if it pleases the Commissioner, I'll take them one by one. So let's start with the first about the mill levies. As Ms. Pulver's presentation noted, I'm not sure exactly which slide, this isn't a change in the mill levy. There's a somewhat unfortunate spacing in the service plan amendment. So when we restated the entire section 10C, which is on packet page 151, restating that entire section to pick up the change to the Gallagher amendment means we're restating the tap fees that were always in the service plan and the same mill levy that was always in the service plan. So those aren't new things. They're just in the same section as the Gallagher change. So that's the mill levy discussion. Questions about the mill levy?
I have none.
Okay. Next topic raised I heard was tap fees. Again, these aren't new tap fees. These are the same tap fees that have always been in the service plan. I'm on packet page 151 down to 152. These aren't any new fees. There's no change there. It's always been in the service plan, and it's not imposed on end users in the community. It's collected no later than the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. So no new fees there. Questions?
I have none.
No, I mean, that's the thing that I was looking for, and thank you for getting us to the packet page, because I was looking for it and I couldn't find where that was, where any sort of change to the mill levy. And then I do validate that, yeah, tap fees are at certificate of occupancy. So any current residents, unless they make a change, of course, with their service, with their water service that would necessitate a change in the current tap they are issued by their water district, or they wish to have a second tap fee, it won't apply.
Yeah, agreed, no change there. And then the third topic I heard was about exclusion of property. The notice that's required to be provided for these service plan hearings attempts to work for both new metro districts and existing metro districts, which is somewhat unfortunate. If you have your handy-dandy CRS book, which I know you may or may not have, you'll notice that the language here says that the notification's required to include how you can be excluded from the district pursuant to 3.5A, which only applies to proposed special districts. Mirabel 1 through 4 are existing special districts, so there's not an avenue for the Board of County Commissioners to approve an exclusion. Any residents wishing to exclude are happy to contact Mirabel Metro Districts, who not only have their own website, but a website on DOLA, SDA, White Bear's website. You can find us. Trust me, we're out there. Any questions about that?
Now, just a quick comment, the counselor's comments about the reference to state law, that is actually consistent with legal advice given to the board.
Great.
If I could just ask a question. The gentleman who spoke second said that his notice said, contact the board. I don't think he meant our board. He meant the board of Mirabel is who he needed to contact. Is that right?
That is who he needs to contact. I don't know exactly what he meant, but perhaps he's still on the line. He can clarify for us. I think his name was Scott.
I am still here. I am still listening.
I can speak
and the
to
reason
that
why.
real quick. Sorry, this Chris Pratt with the County Attorney's Office. We've had this issue. You have with you a packet of responses the county has received, and we discussed this with the applicant. This comes in the applicant's reading of the statute. The statute does say the Board of County Commissioners has the ability, when a district is forming, to review and exclude properties from a newly forming district. The interpretation that was used when the notices went out was to use the exact same notice that goes out when a district is formed. So residents did get a notice that did tell them to contact the Board of County Commissioners if they would like to be excluded. We have reached out to them one by one as they've reached out to us and explained to them that that is an error in the notice, and that the board tonight has no authority to exclude anyone from any of these districts. That authority, once they were formed, shifted to the board itself, the board of the district. And they do have a process for that, but it is not here tonight.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you for that. So any other questions or comments for the applicant in response to citizen comment?
I have none.
No, sir.
Okay, and I have none either. So with that, we'll close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion and or motion.
Well, if it pleases the board, I do have a motion to approve a resolution approving the First Amendment to the Service Plan for Mirabel Metropolitan Districts Number 1 through 4.
Second.
So there's a first and second on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that carries 3-0. So thank you for the applicant being there in person and to staff. The next land use meeting and public hearing will be held on Tuesday, February 7th, 2023 at 2:30 p.m. We are adjourned.